Handmade Dress. This is a podcast all about creating your own handmade wardrobe by knitting and sewing. No sewing this week, I'm afraid. Lots of knitting though. So it's really nice to see everybody. I'm sorry it's been so long. Again, if you didn't catch the last podcast, you will may not know that I am now 7 months pregnant. And it's been a bit of a whirlwind and there's been loads going on. So I haven't been able to catch up with you guys for a while. That being said, we've got some finished objects, we've got loads of stash, and loads to talk about. Since last you saw me, we've been getting the house ready for the baby. I say getting the house ready, it's not really the house, it's the stuff that baby needs. We've been doing that and organising all that. I've been to Unravel this weekend, which was fabulous, and it's so lovely to see people. I met up with loads of people. I was intending to go with another group of people, the same people that I went last year, but unfortunately they couldn't come this time round. So I ended up meeting Hannah of Yarnia Designs, Claire of Mr. B's Yarn, I think she's Clary B on Ravelry, and Bex, her sister, so I think she's Bexy Norms on Instagram as well, and their friend Kate, who I'd not met before. So it was really lovely to catch up with them. I should say I've only ever met Becky in person before. I've knit a few of Hannah's designs and test knit, so it's really lovely to be able to go around with them and have a really lovely day out. So I'll talk more about Unravel when we get to stash, because lots of it is Unravel stash. I was unravelled at Unravel. But let's start off with finished objects. So finished objects, I have two this week. That's amazing for me. 2 is like unheard of, but I do have 2. First one is this one. So you will have seen this before on the last podcast. I think I was pretty much done. And this is the Norwegian Fur Cardigan by OGC Designs. I'll put it on screen. I say done, I haven't woven in my ends. It has been blocked, but here it is. It's really cute. It's got these little lace ends everywhere. It's got this little lace design on the raglan. Easier to see on the back. And this is for the tiny human that's going to be descending in May. Yep, so the yarn is just a bog standard acrylic blend. I think I said in the last podcast what it was, I can't really remember. It's just a bog standard acrylic. I hated knitting it in terms of the stickiness of the yarn. It made my hands really hot, but I know that acrylic is, you know, perfect to chuck in the wash for the baby, and this has been through the washing machine and it's totally fine. So yeah, there's that one. Little buttonhole. I suppose I've still got to stick a button on it, but then I had some friends who said don't put buttons on newborn baby things, so I haven't decided whether I'm going to do that. So yeah, that's my first FO, which is the Norwegian Fur Cardigan, and I'd like to knit another one of these. They're really beautiful, and her designs, there's loads of lovely ones, and I've downloaded a couple of others. Whether or not I have time before the baby arrives, I'm still working full time until Easter, so we'll see. Maybe I'll have enough time, maybe I won't, to knit up another one of those or another of those designs. Then the second FO is something you've not actually even seen before. So this is the Salcombe shawl by Hannah of Yarnia Designs. I've had the pattern for ages. As I said, I test knit for Hannah the Rosehip Socks, which you've seen before, and really loved them. And I decided that I wanted a shawl. It's my first 2 skein shawl. I've done a 1 skein shawl before, but not a 2 skein. And yeah, so this is the Salcombe shawl. Let me unwrap so I can show you. So the yarn is Giddy Yarns in Spearmint is the main blue colour, and this gorgeous speckly peachy toned one is Bill and Fleur Get Married by Nora George. I won't show you the bottom lace too much because I messed up on one of the rows and it's not 100% correct, and I checked. Hannah wore hers to unravel and we sort of compared notes, and I noticed that I screwed up the lace at the bottom, but I still really love it and I'm still going to wear it a lot. It is massive for me. It's very, very long. You've got this nice kind of frilled edge that you get at the end. Increasing every row meant extremely long shawl by the end of it. I'm really happy with it though, and I really love the colours. They're colours I wear a lot, including the kind of peachy tones, even down to the kind of royal blue kind of splodges that there are. I don't know if you can see that, but there's kind of some royal blue splodges in the Bill and Fleur. And so, yeah, I'm hoping it'll go with loads of things. It already seems to go with quite a few things. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep it on for. It's quite warm already. We're currently having a bit of a mini heat wave, so yeah, it's very nice and it's very sunny, which is lovely because it means I can record after work for a change. But yeah, it's a little bit warm for shawl wearing. I did manage to wear it through most of Unravel before feeling quite dizzy and then took it off to wander around for the rest of the day. I should say the Giddy Yarns is a Giddy Sock, which is the merino nylon, and the Nora George Bill and Fleur is an MCN. And the one thing I do regret with this is not knitting the colours the opposite way round. So I feel like I should have had the MCN as the main colour and the spearmint as the lace, because with the lace it's a little bit interrupted by all the speckles, and I think it would have been nicer the opposite way round. But I thought that at the time when I started it, and I looked at Hannah's, and Hannah's is I think hers is a hedgehog and labby and a may. But when we put them together, they actually look really similar. And if I can get hold of Hannah's photo, I'll insert, there's a photo of us at Unravel, both wearing our Salcombe shawls. That's it for FOs this week. I was thinking that I'd have a few more whips going, but it's kind of, I finished this project, and like I said, you hadn't seen it before, so it's quite a big project. And so I felt like picking up some little things. I really want to make some sweaters. I really, really want to be making garments. But unfortunately, being 7 months pregnant and huge, nothing's going to fit me for a while. Everything seems to be fine and all going well with baby, but I am increasing very rapidly. And so garments might not be the best idea right now, particularly sweaters. But there's so many that I've seen that I love that I really, really want to make. And I've been kind of messing about with what could I do, how could I do it. But I think I'm better off just waiting until May, maybe doing a few smaller projects until then, and then starting off, you know, something else in the summer. So with that in mind, I've started some small projects. They all appear to be the same colour, so I'm sorry about that. These have been in my queue forever, and there's not much to show at this moment in time, partly because I'm using my longer needles on my other whip, and this is slowing me down because I'm on quite a small cable. But this is the start of the Swedish Pancakes Mittens by Diana Waller. So I literally have ribbing, not particularly exciting, but as you can see, teeny tiny cable, it's starting to annoy me. You do huge amounts of ribbing to start with, so I think I'm maybe halfway through the ribbing. Once I finish my other whip, I will swap over the needles because I only have this tiny pair of 2.75s and a longer pair which are currently being used. I meant to get some at Unravel, but annoyingly they'd sold out at the particular booth that I looked at. I didn't think to go to Knit Pro, which would have been a better plan. But there we go. So yes, that is the start of the Swedish pancake mitts, which have been in my queue forever, and then it's going to be too warm to wear them. Never mind. Then the second whip I have is almost identical colours actually. You have seen this before, or you've seen the other part of this before. So it is a sock. It is my Rosehip Sock from Yarnia Designs. So you have seen the completed sock months and months ago when I test knit it for Hannah. And then I saw her at Unravel and I just remembered that I had never cast on the other sock. I'd attempted it a couple of times, but for some reason the Judy's Magic cast on really flummoxed me, and I tried it 2 or 3 times and I'd done it perfectly the first time I did it, but the second and third time I just couldn't work it out, and I don't know what I was doing wrong. So last week I just decided I need this as a pair of socks in my life. And so I started it about 3 days ago, something like that, and I'm about here. So I've done 2, just about it, the second pattern repeat. It's quite a long sock, it's quite detailed, involved. I have to stare at the chart all the time. Not necessarily a bad thing if that's what if you want something a bit interesting, which at the moment I want something mindless and I want something interesting. So at the moment the ribbing is the mindless and this is the interesting. It's stockinette on the foot on the other side, but you have quite a detailed pattern. Every row is different it's quite a few rows, so every repeat feels like it takes quite a long time. So I'm not intending to have these finished super quickly, but I am intending to have a pair of socks maybe by the time the baby's born. That'd be good. Again, it'd be too hot to wear them then, but they can just go into my my sock box. The yarns are Knit Picks Stroll in Dogwood Heather, and the mini for the toe is a hand dyed by me. It's just got pinks and yellows in it, and the really gorgeous stitch marker Progress Keeper cupcake is from Chapel View Crafts. It was in a Lay Family Yarns sock club, or a yarn club that they did, the afternoon tea ones. So yeah, so that is my 2 whips. I've got a little bit of dream knitting. I have not got any sewing, I'm afraid. I am desperate for clothes. My husband, bless him, printed off the Cara top by Megan Nielsen. So she has Maternity Capsule, and one of them is just a t-shirt with the kind of maternity adjustments that you need. To be honest, I have been wearing shop bought maternity most of the time. I can still get away with some of my clothes from before I was pregnant, but obviously things like this just, as you can probably see, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, so I really am looking forward to sewing up some t-shirts at least before baby's born, and then afterwards I'd like a kind of like relaxed capsule. I'm going to be off for my maternity leave, so I'd like something that I can do and keep me interested and excited. I also got him to print the Blackwood cardigan, the Givre, so the Deer and Doe Givre maternity top and dress, which is one which has a kind of like, it's contrasting, so you have a cut, you have a piece on the yoke, and then you have the top or the dress underneath, and that's the maternity version too. So I might try and sew that one up as well. I could have done maternity adjustments on things. I love my lark tees at the moment. Most of my lark tees are still fitting okay. they've got enough stretch that they're fitting over my stomach, so I haven't felt the need to make some specifically maternity ones until now. As I said, I'm around 7 months, so I have another couple of months to go, so it's do I do it now? Anything like a Blackwood cardigan is totally going to work before and after, so I will probably attempt that at some point, but there will be more sewing, I promise. I'm missing it dreadfully at the moment and I really want to be sewing, but once I'm on maternity leave I'll have a bit more time for that. At the moment I'm working full time and I'm really tired, but I've only got 6 more weeks to go and then I can stop work. Sorry about the being breathless thing. Who knew that when you were pregnant you stopped breathing properly? It's very weird. Yeah, so with that in mind, dream knitting, I have a few things that I really want to make over the next few months. As I said, they're not going to be garments, but I've decided on a few kind of shawls and things, accessories that will that I think will be nice. The first one up is the Audra shawl by Amber O'Brien. The Audra shawl, I'll put a picture up. It is the one where you have the mohair and you strand the mohair with a colour, and then you have a plain solid lace section, and it's like a wrap rather than a shawl specifically. It's a long thin wrap. And so I decided to put these colours together. This is it Life in the Big Wool? I'll put it on the screen. And this is the Tea at Pemberley colourway. So it's the Jane Austen colourway. It's MCN. It's really pretty. It's a bit similar to Les Family Yarns Cornish Way, which is my favourite of all time. And then I decided that my plain colour is going to be Elephant Ears by Les Family Yarns. So that would be the colour, that's going to be the lace. And then I thought for the mohair, you'll see this in Stash Enhancement as well, I bought some Shibui Silk Cloud. It's lovely. This is the bone colourway. It's a little bit greyer than I anticipated. I thought I'd go for warmer colours, but I think they'll pair really nicely. I always intended to use this colour, but I'll have a little play and see whether they work together, but hopefully they will. And with the MCN and the Silk Cloud, I think that'd just be so gorgeous. So that's one of my dream knittings. I'm losing light rapidly, so what I might do is go back to those, but do Stash Enhancement because I have a lot to show you, and light is going. Okay, so not gonna lie, there's been a load of Stash Enhancement. It's been a while since I've seen you, and a few people have had some sales. There's been a few January sales. I don't know if I'd podcasted since January, probably not. So I've picked up some bargains. I did have a gift voucher for Christmas for a yarn story, so I've bought some stuff from them, and I've also just been to Unravel. I always preface this with some kind of excuse, but ultimately there's a lot of yarn here. So let's start with a new to me dyer, which is Biff Sugar Yarns. I was specifically looking for DK yarns that were hand dyed because I have a lot of fingering weight yarns, and I thought, well, I'm always craving something a little bit faster and something a little bit that, you know, that I could do a little bit quicker. And so I came across Biff Sugar, and they had some really lovely colourways. So this is Biff Sugar. So this is their 100% Superwash Merino DK. It's 225 metres, and this is the Miss Havisham colourway. Just got a little bit more blue than I'd anticipated, but I really like it, and it'll make a really nice hat. And then I picked up their one of their Christmas colourways, which was, oh, this is their Springy Twist. So it looks like they've got more than one base. The first one is a 100% Superwash Merino DK, and this is called Springy Twist, 115 grams, 230 metres. This is their North Pole colourway, so it's Christmassy. So it's got reds and greens and kind of crazy aquamarine blues. That's lovely, and that's the only Christmas yarn I have ever bought, I think, to date. We'll wait and see, I'm sure I'll buy more before the time is out. Then the rest of these are the 100% Superwash Merino DK. This is the 225 metres per 100 grams. So this is the Miss Havisham colourway. So as I said, there's a bit more blue in there than I would like, but that's okay, it'll make a lovely hat. Then I am slightly obsessed with this colourway. This is Demelza, as in of Poldark, and if anyone who knows me will know that I have a long-standing imaginary relationship with Ross Poldark, or Aidan Turner has long been a long-standing crush, even before when he was in Being Human, which was a Bristol-based show, a vampire show that we had here about 10 years ago, and he was in that, and obsessed. Yes, so this is the Demelza colourway, and it's gorgeous. Really, really looking forward to knitting that up into something. I don't have anything like this at all. It's a really unusual choice for me, but I just thought it reminds me of oyster shells or mussel shells. It's just got that kind of really gorgeous look to it. And then the last one from Biff Sugar is the Peach Melba colourway, which is totally my wheelhouse, as you can see from pretty much everything I'm wearing. Yes, I really like that one, and I think I could put that into a DK weight shawl. I think it's DK. I've got some cream DK that I got from John Arbon last time. I think it was last Unravel, and I think it would go really nicely with this if I could find a more than one colour shawl. Hohi's just brought out a really gorgeous new one. Is it Odyssey? Which is free. So, and I think that's DK. So that could be really nice in that. Then my new favourite, and it was so lovely to meet Aisha at Unravel, is Dusty Dimples. You know already that I've bought a load of Dusty Dimples in the past. I didn't actually buy anything from her at Unravel because I had an intention to buy 3 skeins of something in one colour, and sadly she didn't have any of the ones I wanted. She'd sold out by the Saturday of 3 colours. So I said, that's fine, as long as I can email you and let you know, like, could you please dye me this one up? And she was absolutely lovely. It was a pleasure to meet her. But I did buy this before Unravel. Dusty Dimples haul. I got 2 skeins of Heart Floats in the DK. I already have this in the fingering weight, but I loved it so much that I wanted 2 skeins of it in DK. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I was kind of thinking, do I want to do a faded cardi? And I know that that's DK. So I did have that in mind when I ordered it, that maybe it could be one of the colours in a faded, So Faded, is it So Faded cardigan? You know the one I mean, the Andrea Mowry that everyone has made. So I got 2 skeins of Heart Floats. This is their 75-25 merino nylon. 100 grams is 225 metres. So 2 of Heart Floats. And then I also got this one. Now I'm going to forget what it's called. It didn't come with a label. I do have the name. I will put it below. It's currently eluding me. But it's this gorgeous aqua. It's coming out a little more aqua. It's reading a little brighter than it is. But it has some purpley specks in it and goes really nicely with Heart Floats. And then these ones were just because I liked them. So this is also DK. This is Keep On Swimming. Again, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but really liked it. So that's Keep On Swimming and Exonerate, which again, I thought I had in a fingering weight, but I think I've got a similar one. This is Exonerate, which has got those pinky purplies. Again, I'm desperately fighting against the light today. I'm sorry about that. So that was my DK from Dusty Dimples. The other stuff I got before Unravel was I had a voucher for a yarn story, which I have been intending to go, but since being pregnant, it's in Bath. which is close to family, but it's not in the centre of Bath where we'd normally visit. I thought I'll just order online this time, and she had a sale on all sock yarns, and it was like 20% off, which for some of them was a big discount, which I was really pleased with. So I ordered these with the intention not of them being socks, but of being something else. So I tried to pick things that were things that I'd never bought before, or things that I'd looked at and decided, you know, I want to try. 2 of them were in the sale, 1 of them wasn't. So the ones in the sale were the Sweet Georgia. They're both Tough Love Sock. And this one is the Smitten colourway. I did actually order 3 skeins. I ordered another colour, but they emailed me to say they didn't have it in, which is sad. So I just got 2 skeins, but that's fine because they're really high yardage. They're 425 yards, 80 superwash and 20 nylon. So this is Smitten. And then I decided I would pair it with Ginger. And so again, that's the same base, the Tough Love Sock. But I really love this. Again, this isn't a colour that I pick up very often. I did pick it up with the Dusty Dimples a little bit, but those 2 together, so gorgeous. So I'm looking forward to knitting those together in something. Not quite sure what at this moment, but something. And the third thing, just trying to clear the decks here. And the third thing I bought was 2 skeins of Shibui Silk Cloud. So you've already seen it. I've already got one out of the skein and balled up ready. So this one is Bone, is the colourway. It's lace. The yardage is 330 yards and 300 metres, and it is 60% mohair and 40% silk. Look at the halo. I'm really looking forward to using this. I did think it was going to be creamier from the pictures, but I'm not at all worried about it. I've just been desperate to try Silk Cloud as I've seen so many people use it, and it just looks amazing, and everyone comments on how soft it is. I do have some Rowan Kid Silk mohair, a couple of balls of, but I didn't have enough for the order, so I ordered this so that I had enough of this for the order. It's so soft. So yeah, there's those. And then the last thing I bought before Unraveled, I need a break. Does everyone need a cup of tea? I feel I need to stop for a cup of tea now. The other thing that I bought was a surprise purchase for me. I never ever ever catch an update from this lady, ever. And I'd been looking at a couple of the colours that she had, and then suddenly she was like, oh, I'm having an update in like an hour, and I was free to watch the update. So I was like, oh, I need this. So that's Dandelion and Dogwood. I've been desperate to get hold of some of her yarn in forever. Amy is Little Tailoress on YouTube. This one is Boho Bunny, so this is her her fingering high twist 80/20, and it's 375 meters per 100 grams, and this is Boho Bunny. Again, this almost went into my order shawl, but it's just a little bit too creamy for this grey, so I opted for the other one. But yeah, so that's Boho Bunny. And then the other one was the reason really I made an order. She did a sock club. She did Literary Sock Club, Literary or Movies, I can't remember what it was, but it was the Guernsey Potato Peel Society film, which I'd watched recently and really enjoyed. And they dyed up a skein to look like the cover, the film poster, and it is just stunning, and I managed to catch hold of that, so that's this one. And so they've called it Guernsey, but I guess it's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society one. But it's so delicate. It's the pinks and the kind of champagne colour at the top, going into bronze, and then the blue at the bottom. obsessed. And I kind of wanted to use those two together, but I don't know if they're too similar, or whether I want this to shine in something on its own. Haven't decided, but I knew that I had to pick up something in our update, so I did. And now I've got my breath back. Let's go on to Unravel. So I had a fabulous time at Unravel. It was really lovely. The ladies who I walked around with are Bristol ladies, so I don't live there anymore, as most of you know. I live on the south coast near Brighton, but I went down to see my family in the summer, and I met up with Bex at Alternate Universe and went to the knit afternoon with Kim and some other lovely ladies there. And unfortunately Claire couldn't make it that time, nor Kate, but I messaged Hannah and said, are you going to Unravel? And she said yes, and she was coming with Kate and Bex and Claire. So I said, would you mind if I come wander around with you guys? So my long-suffering husband, bless him, he drove me. Didn't trust my car to go that far away and come back again all in one piece with a bump. So he drove me and he sat in the cafe. So if anyone saw a lonely yarn husband with his switch, that was him. And he sat in the cafe, plied with Rocky Road and sweets and chocolate and coffee, while we wandered around Unravel. And it was really lovely. The stalls were great this year. Most people were in the same places as they were last year, which made it really easy for me to sort of negotiate where I was going and what I was doing. I made myself a list of places I wanted to visit, not specifically the yarn I wanted, but the vendors I wanted to see, if there was a particular quantity of something I wanted for a particular project. I had a few of those, so I had a few things on my shopping list. I did okay. There wasn't as much DK and worsted and Aran as I was hoping there would be. If there was, it was something I missed. I did go back to John Arbon, who I bought a sweater quantity for last time, and actually I've knit up quite a lot of my John Arbon. So I had the Fern and Feather sweater I made last year, was out of my John Arbon DK, and then I had a skein of this lovely pink colour. I can't remember what the colourway is, I'll probably put it on the screen, and I made the Dainty Dots cowl from Molly Klein Designs with that one. So I've used up most of my John Arbon now, and so I decided I really wanted a sweaters quantity. I was hoping for DK. I couldn't justify, because they do an offer that's 13 skeins and get one free, but I couldn't justify paying for 13 skeins. So I opted for fingering weight, and I opted for making the floozy cardigan, because I think I could probably just about pull off a cardigan with it open in the spring. So I opted for this colour. So I got 4 skeins of KBN 42, and this is their 100% Falklands Merino knit by numbers. I've knit with this before, it's gorgeous. I will say I wore my Fern and Feather to Edinburgh against lots of different clothes because it's freezing when we went to Edinburgh last year, and I did get a bit of pilling under the arms, but it was quite heavy wear, and I'm not intending to wear this cardigan ridiculously heavily. It's going to be a spring cardigan. So this is the main colour. I'm using light, so that's probably the best read you're going to get on it. So I bought 4 skeins of this, and then I bought some minis to go with it to make the colour work. So I bought 2 skeins of this pink, or two minis. So this is KBN 66, so that's going to be one of my contrast colours. And then I bought 1 of KBN 12 to make the third contrast. Now I've sort of, since I've come home, I sort of wished I bought 2 of this one and 1 of this one, but I've bought 2 of the pink and 1 of this. So what I might do is I might swap out the this one for a cream. If I've got a cream in my stash, I probably have an undyed somewhere. And knit it with an undyed and the pink. But you need about half a skein for the second contrast colour, and that was just under for 2 minis, but it was significantly cheaper to buy 2 minis than it was to buy a whole skein to use half. So I was trying to be economical. As you can see from my yarn stash, I need to be economical. So yes, that's the idea for my fleecy cardigan, is those 3. Then the first thing I hit up was easiness, and I've never been there before. I've seen them at a couple of shows, but I've never really bothered to look. But seeing Bex had knit up some amazing things. If you haven't checked out their podcast, by the way, it's the Bird Box podcast on YouTube. Claire and her husband John are the dyers behind Mr. B's yarn, and Bex is Claire's sister, and they have a podcast together called the Bird Box podcast. So if you've not come across them, highly recommend checking them out. And I'd seen Bex make something amazing out of this hot pink, like ridiculously eye-wateringly hot pink, and it's called Life in Plastic, and it was from easiness. And so when we went there, I was like, I have to pick up a skein of Life in Plastic. So this is the Deeply Wicked base, which is 100% superwash merino. This is 4-ply fingering weight, 400 meters per 100 grams. So this is the Deeply Wicked Life in Plastic. And then I was there, and we were sort of browsing, the 4 of us that were there, and I saw this on the table and I was like, oh, that's pretty. And I'd not seen anything like it. I'd seen the Wool Kitchen do something similar, don't they, with the kind of gradients at the end. This is called, we were laughing about Big Boys as well, which was another base that he had, but this is called a Biggie. This is 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon, and this is 150 grams, but it is 600 meters. 600 meters. So I don't really know. I mean, they would look lovely together. So maybe something with those together. I had another intention for this. I've got quite a lot of bright colours, and I thought, oh, a plain colour would be really useful to use up some other stuff, and then I ended up buying this. But 600 meters, I suppose it could be a 1 skeiner, like a massive 1 skein shawl, 1.5 skein shawl, by itself. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that, but it was too pretty not to get. Then we hit up West Green Loft Yarns. So we went to West Green Loft Yarns, and it was so lovely to see Nikki and her sister. I think it's Angie. I'm sorry if I've got your name wrong, but I'm pretty sure her sister's Angie. And she was very busy. I managed to get a quick hello in. I've met her at Socks on the Beach in Brighton a couple of times. She's sort of more local to me. And yeah, it was really lovely to see them. I had a quick chat. I didn't spend a lot of time browsing because she was right in a doorway, unfortunately. And it was just a little bit uncomfortable because of said bump. I was sort of in the way wherever I went. But I did, last year, I totally crushed over this gorgeous indigo blue woven bag that she'd taken to Unravel, and she'd taken the photo, and I didn't get it, and I wandered around and it wasn't there anymore when I came back, and I was stupid Stevie. But she had one more woven bag left. I'm sorry, it's crinkly. She had one woven bag left by the time I got to her, and so I was like, oh, I need this. So I'm sorry it's crinkly, it's still in the plastic, but it's a hand-woven, handmade little notions pouch, and that's from West Green Loft Yarns, upside down. There you go, in gorgeous pinks and kind of neutrals, so it's really lovely, and I'll use that loads. I was looking for some small project bags, but unfortunately nobody had any, which is a bit sad. Then we went to Skincream, and again, Skincream's not somebody that I normally spend a lot of time looking at. I recently read on their Instagram they're swapping owners. I think they're selling the business and swapping it to somebody who already has been in the business for a while. So that's a big surprise, but you know, it's great that it's still going and going to continue on. And Bex picked this up first, so I'm sorry Bex if you did actually want it. And then she put it down and I picked it up and then I couldn't put it down. And this is their Crush 75-25, 100 grams, 425 metres, and this one's called Summer Houses. But it had all the speckles of loads of colours that I have in my stash. And so I thought, oh, that would be good with lots of different things that I have. So that was Summer Houses. Then we went to Pearlescence, and I wasn't intending to buy, this was probably my biggest purchase on its own. I didn't intend to buy it. I was going with the intention of buying myself a set of liquor needles. And as most people know, they're about 120 quid. And I put on my list needles if on offer, and they'd have to be quite a big offer. We went to Pearlescence. They didn't have liquor needles, but they do have Chalgu needles. And I really enjoy using my Chalgu needles, and I have some bigger fixed circulars of Chalgus, but I didn't have any smaller sets, and I'm finding that knitting with smaller needles is something that I do quite often now. My last set of needles that I bought were Knit Pros Symphony, and I bought them when I first started knitting, so we're talking 5 or 6 years ago, and they're about 70 quid then, and I've snapped most of those. I'm sure those who have got them will understand what I mean. They just, with the bamboo, they tend to shatter with use, and so I really needed another needle set, and they had the small set of Chalgus, and they were reduced to 70 instead of, I think they were about 100. So it was quite a significant saving. I bought the small set, so this is the set that you get 3 cables and you get a 2.75 up to a 5. But to be honest, that's the needles that I currently use anyway. And you get 3 loops. So you get the 22, I can't remember, but you know, I'll put them on the screen. But yes, they're great, and I really enjoy that the cables don't have any memory, so they don't twist and get stuck and that kind of thing. So I wasn't intending to buy the Chalgu needles, but they kind of came home with me. So they were a big purchase, but I can always put some birthday money towards it. I've sort of trying to rationalise to my husband that I won't be going to Edinburgh this year because of Babe, and I won't be able to go out for my birthday either because the baby is due 4 days after my birthday. So I'm not intending to be going anywhere for my birthday. So I said, well, you know what, it's my last outing, proper outing before little one. So I ordered those. And then I went to Stranded, and I did intend to buy different things at Stranded than I actually bought. I wanted some DK from her. Last year I bought a sweater's quantity of her Blue Rinse colour in her Castaway DK. She doesn't do Castaway anymore, but I really enjoyed knitting with that, and I made my Ricane sweater out of it. So out of Unravel stash, I've done pretty well. But I did buy a few other things. So I bought the Mosaic Broken Hearts in the DK. This is a 100% superwash DK. And this is 230 metres to 115 grams. Mosaic Broken Hearts. This is very similar to Sugar Plum, which I already have in my stash in fingering weight. I don't know if that's intentional. It looks a lot different on the website. Not to say that it looks nicer or not on the website. It looks, you know, just looks different. But I really liked the purpley colour, and any DK in my stash is welcome right now. In fact, I've just put, ooh, how about that with Biff Sugar yarns? That's quite a nice combination. And then I bought these intentionally. So I want to make a boho blush, and I have been desperate to make a boho blush forever. I'm going to learn brioche, and I'm going to do it. And you need 3 skeins to do a boho blush by Andrea Mowry, I should say. And so I bought 3 skeins of her 80-10-10, so this is her MCN. It's 400 metres to 100 grams, I think. And this is the Modern Love colourway. So I bought 3 skeins of the MCN. It was like £6 more to have MCN than it was, because I think it's £2 more a skein. So I have got 3, but I've caked one up, ready to do that. And that's the Modern Love colourway, which I really, really, really like. So there endeth the haul. Yeah, it's a lot of yarn, and I'm not going to be buying any more for a while. I say that every time, I'm sure, but with the baby on the way, we have got to start using some stuff up, because this lovely room that I have for my Yarnia exploits and my sewing exploits is going to have to become the baby's room, unless we move in 6 months. But yeah, that's the intention. So I need to start de-stashing, which I might do. If people are interested, please leave me a comment. I will be doing some de-stashing of probably more fabric than yarn, but some fabric and yarn before the baby's born, possibly a little bit after. But if you're interested in de-stash, let me know. I have lots of dreams and ideas and things, but that's probably better for another video, because I know there's been lots of talk about racism and people of colour not being heard in the knitting community and experiencing horrible, horrible things. I really don't know how to address it in a way where I sound eloquent. Partly because it's so out of my comfort zone to feel that anyone else should be victimised for anything, let alone the colour of their skin. Seems just totally alien and ridiculous to me that anyone could do that. But I just wanted to say that I hear people, and that I'm listening, and that I'm trying my best to support as many people as I can. I don't know the best way to support people other than buying their stuff. And so I will try and be more intentional by doing that, and commenting and following and being kind to people. And I just don't, the fact that people won't be kind to people just is totally baffling to me. So yeah, that wasn't very eloquent, but I just wanted to say I support everybody who wants to feel safe in the knitting community, and yeah, eloquent. And I don't know if I'll put this in, because I just feel like I'm going to make a mess of whatever I say, and I'm not one of those people who wants to put their voice out for anything. But I feel it's important to do it this time. Okay, so with that in mind, on that rather strong note, we are going to head off. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Hopefully once the baby's here and I'm home, I will be doing a bit more podcasting, and a bit more content will be coming through. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Don't forget, if you like this video, you can subscribe, and I am popping on as much as I can. Yeah, and have a fabulously crafty week, and I will see you soon.